Good evening. Been another interesting 24 hours as far as escalations. Um, I'm telling you, I think it's any time. I really do. I think some type of event is going to spark something. And of course, I'm referring to the situation in Ukraine. And I really do think that just something's going to spark. And I think NATO's going to be full force. Now, good chance of it being a member of the UK because of the way things are going on there. But very interesting stuff happening. A lot of pretty serious escalations going on. So anyway, I've got several tabs of that to cover, and other than that, I don't have a whole. I got the bike all done. It's completely finished, so thank goodness for that. That was just one of those tasks that I was dreading, and because I knew it was a rat's nest, and it's not that it would have been hard to deal with, really, or anything like that. It's just I didn't have what I needed to do it actually the right way. So I hate doing stuff kind of half-assed, but I don't have a choice, and I really don't know what I would use if I did. I mean, I don't know, maybe like a Wago connector with a ton of, but they wouldn't have one like I would need, so. But anyway, a bus bar would work, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't want to fight with any of that kind of stuff, so just wrap the wires together, drowned it in solder, and seal it up. So, anywho, got that taken care of, and hopefully I can get some of these projects knocked out. So now that I got that done, tomorrow I can get a bunch of stuff I need to get out in the shed and continue on getting my last minute projects done before it gets really stupid outside. So anyway, man, like I say, just been crazy. I'm trying to get all that squared away. I got the video that I put up today. I got another video I'm working on that's showing you guys the bike. And then we'll go from there. So, but anywho, can't think of anything else as I get these projects done. I'm probably going to get the heater project done, and I'll show you what I did on that. And that's just changing out the exhaust a little bit. So I got that going on, and the reason I didn't do a video of me doing the actual soldering and stuff like that, because again, I don't have what I need to do it the right way. So I'm not gonna make a video of me doing it the redneck way, and I'm not gonna do that. So anywho, same kind of with this exhaust. It's kind of one of those deals to where it's not something that plug and play. I'm gonna have to do a lot of playing in order to get it to plug. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of sanding, and unfortunately, that's gonna be what it'll be. We'll be sanding because I have to open up the reducer a little bit to fit over the piece I need to put it on. So fun. I really don't want to use a Dremel or a rotary tool because I don't want to accidentally take a little too much. So I really need it to be snug. Well, because I'm picky more than anything. Not like the clamp wouldn't seal it if there was a little, gap, but still, I'm picky. Anywho, like I said, I've got several tabs open for you. Things were kind of kicked off with an airstrike that the news had reported. So let me go ahead and start out with that, and then we'll go into what's going on with the grain corridor. Airstrikes on critical infrastructure reported across Ukraine, and of course this was overnight for us. Officials in Ukraine reported Russian attacks on critical infrastructure on Monday, with one claiming that some 40 missiles had been detected in the air. Moscow insisted that all targets had been successfully hit. All Ukrainian regions sounded the alarm in the morning, with the media reporting explosions in several parts of the country, including the capital Kiev. Anton Gerashenko, an aide to the interior minister, urged people to take cover in shelters, claiming on social media that at the moment there are already 40 Russian missiles incoming at targets in the country. Some hits have been confirmed by regional officials. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko reported that strikes on the capital that had caused a partial blackout and disrupted the water supply. He said that due to damage to energy infrastructure, some 350,000 apartments were without power, while around 80% of the consumers didn't have water. Kharkov Mayor Igor Terekhov said there were two airstrikes which targeted the critical infrastructure site. The city's metro system also suspended work. Igor Tabaret, the head of the Cherkasy Regional Administration, reported an attack on critical infrastructure too, adding that it had caused a partial blackout. His counterpart in Vinnytsia region, Sergei Bazov, claimed that one missile was intercepted and fell on civilian sites. A report on social media claimed a transformer station serving the Dnieper hydropower plant in the city of Zaporozhye had been hit. Footage purportedly shot near the station's dam showed black smoke billowing into the sky. Local authorities loyal to Kiev confirmed the strike and warned of possible blackouts, but offered no details. Russia started targeting Ukrainian energy sites earlier this month. This goes into the history of it. But anyway, so, I'm sure this was more or less a response to the drone attack that they just closed the corridor over as well. Hang on, coffee. Huh. Frushaba. I don't know. Meditate. Let's see. No, I don't let this stuff, I don't let it get to me. I mean, I have zero control over any of this. And, like I say, and I'm a rare person in that I guarantee you that my words and my actions match. I do not worry about this stuff because there's no use in it. What I do is I to the best of my ability, I prepare for it. There's nothing I can do. And worrying and being freaked out and all that. Look, when I was a kid, I was scared of a lot of things. I was scared of tornadoes. I was scared of storms. I was deathly afraid of storms, and I was afraid of nuclear war. The movie The Day After really had an effect on me, and that's something that I feared. And of course, a lot of that was intentional. There was a lot of propaganda and stuff like that on the part of the U.S. But for a child that doesn't understand propaganda or anything like that, that was kind of freaky to me. Now that I'm older and I look at it, it's like I can't do nothing about this. All I can do is prepare for it. And I am extremely confident that if all hell would break loose tonight, overnight, I may not win that war, but I'm going to be okay for a bit. I'm going to be okay for a bit. So, that is where I need to put my focus. Is being okay for a bit and beyond. Especially and the beyond. You don't want to set your sights too shallow when it comes to preparedness. You definitely have to think about the beyond. You certainly beyond your food supply, beyond your supplies, period. You need to be looking for that next step. What do you do after that? Well, you don't wait until that runs out. You do things to prepare to be able to start producing again before you run out of your supplies. That's hopefully the best case scenario, that you've got things up and going and you're producing before you run out of supplies. That should be the plan. However that may be. And like us, it's not like we've got fields. It's not like we even got a garden. So, it is what it is. But we've got seeds. I do know a little bit about growing plants. I'm not saying that I'm necessarily going to feed a neighborhood. My first year, probably won't be able to even take care of us the first year. However, again, that's what your storage is for. To cover that shortfall while you get some serious plans in place. You don't do it by yourself. It's not some lone wolf thing. You make sure that you have the supplies to cover you until you can get a community working in the right direction. That's essentially what best plan of action is. Let's see. Russia tells UN it will inspect Black Sea ships. It says Ukraine grossly violated the Istanbul Agreement on grain exports via the Black Sea and forced Moscow to suspend it indefinitely, Russia's envoy to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, told the Security Council on Monday. The Russian Navy will inspect all cargo ships bound for the Ukraine, even those unilaterally cleared by the Turkish-based Coordination Center, he added. The subversive action of Kiev grossly violates the Istanbul agreements and in fact puts an end to the humanitarian dimension. It is now obvious to everyone that the Black Sea humanitarian corridor is being used by the Ukrainian side for military sabotage purposes, Nebenzia said, referring to Saturday's drone attack on Sevastopol. Russia cannot guarantee the safety of civilian ships participating in the Black Sea Initiative, Nebenzia added, as we do not know what other terrorist attacks Kiev is preparing with the support of its Western sponsors. On Sunday, after Moscow announced the suspension of the arrangement, the Joint Coordination Center in Istanbul said it had greenlit 16 ships to navigate the corridor on Monday and informed Russia about the decision. According to maritime traffic data, at least 2 ships left the Black Sea port of Odessa in the morning, reporting Istanbul as their destination. Decisions and measures taken without our participation are not binding on us, Nebenzia told the UN. Moscow cannot allow ships to pass without our inspection and will be forced to take independent measures to inspect ships authorized by the JCC without Russian approval. Meanwhile, the UN coordinator for the Black Sea Grain Initiative, Amir Abdullah, insisted that food must flow. So we'll see. Like I say, there's definitely escalations going on. This is certainly an escalation. And shall we continue with escalations? U.S. to deploy nuclear-capable bombers to Australia, says the media. The U.S. military, by the way, remember they weren't going to be doing this. Nothing nuclear, right? They were just wanting to make a deal with them on some submarines and, nuclear-powered submarines, but non-nuclear, nuclear-powered submarines. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. So, anyway, it was just going to start out like that. And then now, I'm telling you, wasn't I calling that out back then? Yeah, I was. The U.S. military has devised a plan which would see nuclear-capable B-52 strategic bombers deployed in Australia on long-term rotational missions and turn the country's northern territory into a crucial military hub in Washington's standoff with Beijing. That's according to a report from Sydney-based state broadcaster ABC on Monday. The Pentagon reportedly seeks to build a squadron operations facility which would include a maintenance center and enough parking area for 6 B-52s at the Royal Australian Air Force Military Air Base, Tyndall, according to ABC's Four Corners investigative program. The airbase expansion could cost up to $100 million and is expected to be finished in late 2026. The new facilities are required to support strategic operations and to run multiple 15-day training exercises during the Northern Territory dry season for deployed B-52 squadrons, the report said, citing U.S. documents. An enhanced air cooperation between Australia and the U.S. was discussed during last year's Watchman ministerial meetings, and the sides agreed on rotational deployment of U.S. aircraft of all types. The ability to deploy U.S. Air Force bombers to Australia sends a strong message to adversaries about our ability to project lethal air power, the U.S. Air Force reportedly told ABC. While there is no official confirmation of any arrangements to deploy B-52s at Tyndall, a source who declined to be identified told Reuters on Monday that a plan to establish dedicated facilities for the bombers was indeed in the works. And you can bet it is. Washington's buildup of its military assets is not limited to Tyndall. The U.S. is currently constructing a massive $270 million jet fuel storage facility on the outskirts of Darwin, some 200 miles away from the airbase. At the same time, a joint U.S. and Australian spy base, Pine Gap, near Alice Springs, is reportedly undergoing a major upgrade. I'm telling you. Things are getting stupid. So they also decided it was a good idea to send another carrier strike group towards Europe. A U.S. carrier strike group led by new supercarrier USS Gerald Ford is expected to anchor near Portsmouth in southern England in mid-November, the UK Defence Journal reported on Sunday. The exact date of the flotilla's arrival, which includes 7 other warships, has not been announced publicly, the outlet noted. Releasing such data now might not be the best idea from a security point of view, it added. Some of the American vessels will dock at the Royal Navy's Portsmouth Naval Base, while the USS Gerald Ford will have to anchor outside, at the roadstead in the Spithead area due to its size, according to the outlet. The 333-meter carrier reportedly hosts some 90 planes and helicopters, including fifth-generation F-35C fighter bombers. The USS Gerald Ford, commissioned by the U.S. Navy in 2017, is the first ship of the similarly named Ford class and is the largest aircraft carrier in the world. So, let's see, does it say any more really about it? It goes into the history about when they did it. I was looking to see if they had anything more about its capabilities, but nah. It's a super carrier, though. NATO member raises military alert level. Thought that was something to make a note of. Norway has raised the readiness level of its armed forces, warning that Russia may be resorting to other means in the conflict with Ukraine and declaring it faces an increasingly difficult security situation. The move was announced by Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store on Monday. Store ordered the armed forces to shift from readiness level phase 0, known as normal situation, to readiness phase 1, according to Euro Weekly News. We are in the most serious security policy situation in the past several decades, Store told the media. He argued that since Russia is now experiencing great resistance on the ground in Ukraine, Moscow could be resorting to other means in its military campaign. The Prime Minister admitted that his government had no reason to believe that Russia would wish to involve Norway or other countries directly in the war, but explained that putting Norway's military on higher alert was necessary because this situation dictates it. Norway's Chief of Defense, Erik Kristoffersen, who spoke alongside the Prime Minister, added that the most important task of the armed forces is to preserve our peace and security and to prevent conflict. He explained that the move would see the country's military reprioritize parts of its planned activities in order to increase operational ability and endurance. So, just something to take note of. Let's see. And finally, away from that stuff, anyway. I really do think that there's a good chance that we're going to be in direct conflict very soon. I don't see the U.S. staying out of it, and I see the U.K. Getting into a spat. Definitely. I really do believe I see that happening. We'll see. You know, nobody can definitively call nothing, but I don't really think that the United States is going to take the first shot. I don't believe that. I think that they're making a point of not doing that. I think that's kind of part of their whole victim game. So, can't claim victimhood if you're the one that's taking the other shot. And there's nothing that Russia is currently doing that would or should affect us in a manner that, in a manner, can't even speak, in which we would go to combat over it. I mean, but anyway, most Americans think U.S. is out of control, says a poll. No. Almost 8 out of 10 Americans believe the government is not in control as the country heads into next month's midterm elections, according to a poll released on Sunday. The CBS News YouGov survey found that 79% of respondents see the current state of affairs as out of control, while 21% disagree. Meanwhile, 73% of likely voters see things as going either somewhat or very badly in America, with only 26% expressing optimism. That says a lot. Majority of 56% of Americans disapprove of the job Joe Biden is doing as U.S. president, while 44% have a positive view of his performance. Can you really count them? So what do you do? In order to poll these people that support Biden, do you have a seance? Is that how that works? Do you get a Ouija board? I'm just curious. I don't know how that works. The poll also revealed the diverging priorities of voters, with 63% of Democrats believing that a functioning democracy is a bigger worry for them than a strong economy, and 70% of Republican supporters seeing the economy as a more pressing concern. As the November 8 midterm elections approached, the poll concluded that Republicans are in a good position to win a majority of the House of Representatives, projecting that the GOP will take a total of 228 seats, while the Democratic Party will hold just 207, down from the 220 now. Should Republicans win, more than half of voters expected them to push for an increase in the U.S. energy production, impeach Biden, ban abortions, and overturn Democratic victories in elections. Meanwhile, if the Democrats retain a House majority, respondents expect them to try to pass legislation guaranteeing the national right to abortions, open the border with Mexico, cut police funding, and increase Social Security. The survey comes at a time of growing frustration with the ruling Democratic Party, with many voters accusing it of failing to tackle record high inflation, skyrocketing gas prices, illegal immigration, and rising crime rates. Earlier this month, Bloomberg cited its own economic model, concluding that the U.S. economy is 100% certain to enter a recession in the next 12 months. CBS News YouGov poll, which surveyed 2,119 registered voters, took place between October 26 and 28. So there. Yeah. I just don't understand why we don't do anything. I don't get it. I don't get how you can completely pack a football stadium, but you can't get that many people together to show up and get shit done. It's crazy. Really is crazy. At what point? I mean, the Declaration even makes it very clear about how men will take way too long to take this step. It's right there in the Declaration. And I agree. I agree. Something's got to be done. This can't continue. There is pretty much nothing that is representative of even the majority in this country. There is so much that is lied about. There is so much that is controlled. There is just... It's insane. And the really sad thing is the very, very large majority of people from all walks just want to be left alone. They don't want people up their butts. They don't want to be up anybody else's butt. That's what the large majority, that's the silent majority, that's what they want. Peace. They want to hear it. Those are the people that need to start standing and telling both sides to shut up and sit down. Because it's gone way too far. And it's a combination of both sides of the political aisle that's allowing for it. Is what it is. I'm not doing it. It's not my fault. I damn well ain't going to ignore it because that's not being responsible. It's not being mature. It's not being wise. It's not being logical. It's not doing anything but feeding into an ego to ignore those things. And I'm not going to do that. Do not make for yourself an idol. That covers a lot of stuff when it comes to idolatry. A lot. Anyway, there's the last article that I have open. Then we got the headlines. I'm tired, so if you can't tell. I'm actually, though, pleased with what I got done. Because that was a task. Having to go through that entire thing, figure out where the problem was. Because I had a overall problem. My original problem was my power to the back lights on the bike was lost. And I was having a heck of a time tracing that down because it kind of really didn't make sense. So, but it's taken care of now. Okay. As you see, U.S. government worked with big tech to censor social media, says Intercept. Says U.S. government worked hand in glove with social media platforms to censor online misinformation, such as the factually true Hunter Biden laptop story, The Intercept revealed on Monday, citing internal Department of Homeland Security documents obtained through leaks and public record requests. Moreover, the DHS plans to continue censoring opinions about COVID-19 racial justice and U.S. support for Ukraine going forward. Behind closed doors and through pressure on private platforms, the U.S. government has used its power to try to shape online discourse, Li Feng and Ken Klippenstein write in Monday's report. One of their major revelations is that tech companies, including Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Discord, Wikipedia, Microsoft, and LinkedIn, met with FBI and other government agencies every month before and since the 2020 election. Facebook even set up a special portal for takedowns that requires a law enforcement email to access. The process is also outlined in emails between DHS officials, Twitter, and the NGO Center for Internet Security, while meeting notes show that the government called on tech platforms to process reports and provide timely responses to include the removal of reported misinformation from the platform where possible. Many of the documents surfaced due to the lawsuit by Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt, a Republican currently running for the U.S. Senate. Among them was the revelation that two FBI officials were involved in a high-level communications with Facebook to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. Laura Demlow, the section chief of the FBI's Foreign Influence Task, task force, sorry, and Elvis Chan, a special agent in the San Francisco field office. The factually true story, published in October 2020, was denounced as Russian disinformation by Democrat Joe Biden and most corporate outlets, and the New York Post was suppressed on both Facebook and Twitter. So, and that just goes into the history of that. So, it's just not going to stop until it's stopped. I mean, what are we going to do? Let them hold us down and inject a chip into us? I mean, if nobody does anything, that's where we're headed. In short order. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy what's going on. I just wish that we could get a government that would work for us, that would truly work for us. It would be nice. But it is so far gone. And I don't have any real good answers, and I try to look at this voting thing. Like, well, how the hell do we do this? You got over 350 million people in the United States. I don't honestly know what is the best way to go about polling these people, because the problem with anything is corrupt people. If it wasn't a problem of corrupt people, you wouldn't have to worry about whatever method you used. Whether it be computer, whether it be paper ballot, whatever. If you didn't have to worry about corrupt people cheating, it wouldn't matter. But here we got this problem. That people think that for whatever reason they are appointed to take something that's not theirs. And it's crazy. I am convinced that a lot of these politicians that we hear about all the time, they're in the news all the time, like the Pelosi's and the Reeds and the, all of those folks. I don't believe for a second that they are continually getting elected. But here's the thing. The majority of citizens of this country that even give a damn or that vote are focusing on the presidential run. And of course, that's just every 4 years. But the thing of it is, you got all these other extremely important positions. I'm sorry, but Congress is more important than the president. The president's not supposed to have king powers like they act like they have. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they have us by the gonads so tightly at this point. I don't know what to tell you. Really don't know what to tell you. Other than I'm going to have a couple sips of coffee and a couple of vapes, and we'll do some headline. Oh. Had a hoodlum earlier knock on the door and run away. I thought it was funny. Huh. Oh, I hear you there, Hexapoose. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I don't know if half the population would, but I bet you would probably have 20 something percent that would probably run to get it. It's insane. Absolutely insane. A lot of the younger generations, it's almost like, and I'm not like trying to come down on younger generations. I'm just saying, it seems like a lot of them really don't care. They're just, most of them seem kind of like, you know. I mean, they totally ignore the most important things in life because they're allowed to live in some bubble, it almost seems. I don't know. It's going to be a sticky situation when things do go sideways, though. A whole lot of those people aren't prepared. Anyway, I digress, I think, maybe. I know, I'm rambling tonight. I'm tired. Huh. Could just, like, go to sleep now. No, right before I hopped in, I went and checked out an aircraft in the simulator, a Pilatus PC-21. Hell yeah, that thing's fun. I'm definitely gonna have to play with that thing. And I went and had just, I don't know, a couple of minutes of fun in it. Took off, flew around just a little bit, and landed. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna take off again, and I'm gonna give this thing all hell, and I'm gonna see what what I handle like. And I did that. And I thought, okay, I gotta quit. Gotta get stuff ready for the show. So I went, huh? Oh, I don't know. It would depend on what the brain chip controlled as far as an EMP, what it would do. I mean, eh. I mean, depending upon what centers of the brain that chip controlled, I mean, it could, I guess, do any number of things. That's interesting and messed up to even think about. Yeah. Oh man. All right. German inflation worse than expected. A troubled Swiss lender to axe thousands of jobs. South Korea to kick off massive air exercises. Oh, South Korea and U.S., sorry, to kick off. World's biggest car maker goes back to the basics. Man, you're going to have to buy window cranks again. I'm kidding. Twitter may start charging for verification, says media. This is not really surprising to me. I think it's bullshit, but not surprising. I think they're looking at like $20 a month or something. I think I heard. Yeah, I think that's nonsense. I think that if you are who you are, I think that's it. That's it. You get your verification. If you are who you are, right? That's it. Nothing more. I don't think it should cost you. I don't think it should be something that's political. No. It's crazy. I don't have any verification on anything because I ain't going to play their damn games. Let's see. Airstrikes on critical infrastructure reported. Oh, I actually read that one. Wheat prices surge on Black Sea grain deal collapse. French consumer prices soaring. Indian bridge collapse captured on CCTV. Death toll continues to rise. That's nuts. That's nuts. And what's done is, as a result is even more nuts. Hang on. U.S. and China discuss bilateral rivalry. Food must flow, says UN grain deal chief. Israeli finance minister added to Kiev's kill list. Inflation came from nowhere, says Lagarde. How the hell do you even come up with a statement like that? It came from nowhere? Really? It wasn't all that massive government spending and lockdowns and all that nonsense that had. Really? Huh. Imagine that. Most Americans think. Oh, I read that one. A missile downed by Ukraine crashes in another country, says Interior Ministry. EU urged to place export restrictions on China, says Bloomberg. Biden lost temper with Zelensky over aid requests, says media. German president suspected of staging Ukraine bomb shelter incident, says Der Spiegel columnist. Eurozone inflation surges to record high. Giant asteroid closes in on Earth on Halloween. Says NASA. Just get Space Force out there. They got us covered, right? Put them in their little bitty Space Force spaceships and... Ukrainian shelling causes fire in Donetsk, says mayor. Ukraine provides update on Russian strikes. China slams U.S. trade policies. A multiple arrest after Indian bridge disaster. Yeah, they went and arrested like people that were responsible for the restoration of the bridge and stuff like that. But check this out, right? The bridge was really only supposed to have about 125 people on it. They sold 500 tickets. So I agree, there's somebody that let that many people get on the thing that definitely needs to be charged. But I don't know that that's going to be the people that restored it. I'm thinking the people that made the decisions to sell that many tickets and those people that were responsible for letting the people on the bridge. Outside of that, I can't see how it's anybody else's fault other than some of the individuals that were on the bridge, and the CCTV footage shows, were swinging and swaying and stuff like that on the bridge, causing it to rock and do all that stuff. So you've already got a bridge that's got over twice its limit on it. And then you got a bunch of, I think they were like teens and young adults that were starting to rock it and all that stuff, and the bridge just collapsed. Insane. Russia offers alternative to Ukraine grain deal. MI5 and Bank of England buildings painted orange. Moscow summons Dutch envoy over spy ruse. Revolut founder gives up Russian citizenship. A Ukraine power executive says supplies have run out. Trump trial begins in New York. A NATO member raises military preparedness level. Supporters of Russia sanctions are some of its biggest buyers, says New York Times. Let's see. Skoll's approval rating revealed, says a poll. Instagram glitch suspends millions of accounts. Oops. A longtime Missouri juvenile officer admits to child sex trafficking. You don't say. Partial mobilization completed in Russia, says Ministry of Defense. Independent Scotland will have to join the euro, says Brussels. Dutch anarchists squat in Russian billionaire's house. The U.S. government worked with big... I covered that. Duh. Let's see. Business mogul renounces Russian citizenship. Putin reveals details of Nord Stream blasts. Putin clarifies position on grain deal. UN inspectors visit Ukrainian nuclear sites. Scientists discover planet killer asteroid threatening Earth. Oh, well, no, I read you the one that talked about Halloween, made it scary about Halloween. Pelosi attacker faces 50 years in prison, and I'm still trying to figure out why they were both in their underwear. Can't figure that out. I mean... yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. For one, I don't even want the visual, right? I mean, I've got my opinion of what was going on that night, and I'm really not going to go into detail. But there's some sick puppies, that's all I can tell you. There's some very, very, very sick puppies. It's incredible. Incredible. And all I can do is laugh, because it's like, these are the people that are running this country. And the craziest part of it all is we allow it. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here and relax. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again. Hopefully things aren't quite so escalaty tomorrow, or overnight, I should say. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. So as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.